Smith TV Raw. Today's topic, Ringotv Raw, in relation to his views on being gay. Having viewed said video on this topic, I find it quite fascinating, and there are a few points in this YouTube video which I would like to highlight in relation to the video. I mean, basically, the way you think about YouTube in a wider perspective, it is a free interchange of different ideas in relation to any discussion. So obviously, if you discuss one thing in one context, you have to have the counterpoint, because this is what the media is about and what YouTube sort of emphasizes. Of course, the other question is, because of, if you actually watch the video in relation to this topic, I've been thinking for a time, well, basically, because of what he says, what would happen if I had the power to delete his video, and then the impact that would have on free speech, and where we would go from free speech, because as much as I massively disagree with what the video says, if we just deleted the video, or we had the power to, which we obviously don't, that would massively invalidate the whole concept of free will and free speech. Well, free speech, not free will, but sort of to some extent, because then you'd be going into a kind of nanny state which gets rid of things just because you disagree with it. But my other interesting thing is, and I've made a note of this and I find this quite fascinating, because obviously having done a HND in sports science, only HND then is very minimal, but when he claims that he's talking 100% fact in stated video, I find this quite fascinating, or rather I find it a bit irritating, because if you use sort of scientific thinking about something, I mean, a good example of this is, say you wanted to prove that caffeine positively affects sports performance. So your hypothesis is that, and then you read from a lot of research, literature and journals and things, and then you make a valid conclusion from that basis. When he says what he says about homosexuality, he isn't referencing any research points or anything, he's just kind of giving his own opinion, which is absolute cheese and bologna sandwich. In a nutshell. The next thing, views. Oh, and the other thing I find quite fascinating, again going back to his video, is going back to the issue of what we would call a sort of gender conservative approach. AKA, he takes issue with men being slightly effeminate and women being slightly butch. But as we know in the wider perspective of society and the way that gender roles are changing, I mean, obviously sometimes men take on care roles and then sometimes women take on, you know, traditionally men roles. So that idea is changing and evolving, so, you know, it's kind of like he's very behind the times with that. Okay, this is the end of my YouTube video. Hope you enjoy, like and subscribe.